It's not working. It's church intro videoing. They just can't hear us church intro videoing. 1 second. Yeah, it appears that it changed a setting to default. Alright, try now. Okay, I'm not. Oh, your audio is crap. I don't know why. I'm checking now. No, I can hear you. Don't do anything. It's not you. It's output device is set for auto for some reason. Now try. It's still not working. Why is it not working? Because it's set for this one. Now try.
Church.
There we go.
Church intro video. Church intro video. A little bit of technical difficulties there.
Well, the problem is like, you know, Windows is Windows. So every time you restart it, it can change all the defaults. And so it does often. And so I'll launch, like, it was changed one way in Discord and it was changed a different way in OBS for some unknown reason. Are we sure that the title's updated correctly?
I just updated them.
Okay. They didn't update in my interface, but Twitch does look like it's updated. I didn't check Facebook, but
They're reading correctly on the Restream website.
okay. Restream didn't send it down to this part correctly. It's all good. It happens. Just like there's this button I can press to view in, like view on Twitch, view on YouTube, and none of the buttons actually work.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's just, you know, that's what happens when you're using a tool and a tool and a tool, you know. Sometimes
We're
it
using
doesn't.
tools on tools on tools.
Sometimes it doesn't do what you want it to do.
And then hoping that chain turns out correctly.
Sometimes you're like, go do the thing, and it's like,
I don't feel like thinking today.
no thank you.
No, thank you.
You're like, yes thank you, and it's like, no thank you.
No, thank you.
So.
I don't feel like doing that.
Hello, Biggs. I don't know if anybody said that.
No, I don't think we said it. I put it in the generic howdy, you know, for the beginning of the episode, but "20 seconds." Turn off the show I've been watching. I'm gonna turn off the game I've been playing. Because I can't do all that multitasking while we're doing the fun. I was playing Oregon Trail on my phone.
On your phone.
Yeah, on my phone.
Face Live!
Face live. You can see my face. See my awesome shirt. This is one of the shirts my mama got me for my birthday.
I see a shirt, yes.
My wife says it looks like a hotel quilt, like the
Um,
pattern on the shirt,
I don't think it's the hotel quilt, but it is definitely, if it was beige, I would agree that it looks like the curtains at several hotels
like the
I've stayed at.
curtains.
But
Oh,
it's
okay.
I haven't seen a blue like that. I mean,
No,
if the material's right, it's a good shirt. If the material ain't
it is a
good,
good shirt. I like it.
you know, it's one of those things. It really, to a certain degree, we're at the age where it's like, does the design truly matter?
No, the comfort matters. That's what matters. It's all about
um,
the comfort, folks.
yeah, it's like
Don't let nobody lie to you.
does this so? But yes. So, Pastor Bill, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. As you know, we took last Sunday off. We didn't record a new podcast last Sunday. Not only was it the littlest Shay's birthday, like straight up his birthday proper, but then the Super Bowl. So we hung out, enjoyed his birthday. We watched the Super Bowl commercials. Um, the second half of the Super Bowl was actually quite compelling. Um, the Eagles were putting up a crazy defense, and yeah, and it wasn't enough, but it was entertaining enough that it caught my attention.
That is crazy. I did not even watch the commercials. I didn't
No,
even watch the commercials. Yeah, I straight up just nothing this year with it.
so the highlights with the commercials were there was a lot of big name faces,
Oh,
and
really? They went that route?
yeah, and QR codes. Like
Really?
almost every company had a QR code in the commercial.
Aren't we like
Scan this now.
5 years past that? I'm like, why are we
10
still
actually.
why are we still
Corporations are
doing
finally catching up to the rest of us
like
as far as QR codes.
I
So,
was like, aren't QR cards already dead? Like,
yeah, they died about 10 years ago, and corporations are just now getting there um, to
that's
the
funny.
to the pre-death of QR codes. So,
That's funny.
yeah,
That's so funny.
right.
What else did you
Um,
do?
I spent a lot of time working on some social media marketing for a book publication that came out that I wrote a short story that got put in. So I spent a lot of time working on that. Um, that's about it. Hanging out with the family, working on marketing stuff.
Now, I didn't understand what it has to do with strawberries. Can you
One of the
explain that?
stories in the anthology is the selection of a sacred strawberry. So they just named the
Oh,
whole collection of stories after that one. Either that was their favorite or I don't know, something.
that's the main
Um,
one or something.
I guess.
I mean, I've never particularly been fond of strawberries or sweetbread, and I'm not big on festivals, but, it's one of those things.
Sweet cakes. He's quoting from the short story, or talking about the short story that I wrote.
You don't know that? I
You,
haven't, you
you,
didn't send it to me.
I sent you the name. I sent you all the pertinent information.
You did not send me the short story. So
It's
how
true.
would I
I
know?
didn't send you this one. You could have gotten it on Kindle or Kindle
Oh,
Unlimited,
this
and you
one?
could have ordered a
Like this?
copy. Or there you go. He's got a copy.
Um, so I made
My
Groggy.
copy comes in tomorrow, actually.
I made Groggy go through. So at the beginning of the book, there's an excerpt, um, a little thing about each writer.
Right.
The weird thing is, you're one of the one of three who their name is not in the first like four words. So it
Right.
it almost makes it look like a second paragraph about the previous person.
That's funny.
Um, but
My
it
little
was
53-word biography that I've crafted for
yeah.
using on
So
different
my
things.
guess would be so there's 28 literary pieces. My guess would be that's the winner
There
of
were,
the
yeah,
chicken
I
dinner.
would guess. There were three. They said the top three would get a free copy of the book and yada, yada, yada. So I'm guessing that was number one. Number one
Yeah, I would think
was the
that's
selection of a sacred strawberry. But
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I haven't read any of the other stories yet. I've just
Um
been.
I didn't either. I had no desire to. I found yours, I read yours, and now the book will go on my shelf. Because I'm not a nice person. Um I might go back at some point, but let's be honest, I'm not going to.
You were
Um
nice enough to spend $17 on a book. It's so. Why is it so high? Why is the price point so high? I don't understand.
that's not that high for a book.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's moderate.
Hey Zadie, what's up?
Um
Welcome. How was your week, Pastor Nooms?
so my week was pretty good. We were actually sick.
That's
Um
bad. I'm sorry.
yeah. It was humorous because when you um texted me on Sunday, I I actually had laid down to take a nap. And then which is not unsurprising for a Sunday because, let's be honest, I love naps. So it's not unlikely for me to take a nap. So I had laid down. Um, so so this last weekend this week. So Thursday I worked half a day at work. Friday I took off completely. And then I was sick all the way through. I was sick from Thursday to Tuesday. And then which is why I didn't fight you on the cuz usually when you tell me you're like we're not doing it tonight. I'm like, "Why? I mean, it's just a football, I would have said I was like, "All right, I'm going back to bed."
You were just like, okay,
I was like, "Fine with me. I don't want it tonight anyway.
cool.
I'm tired. I don't feel good." Um
Sounds good to me.
and then Zadie had a work trip this week, so she was actually gone from Thursday till
A
like
work
an
trip.
hour before. They had a team building like work retreat. They do every year a retreat for the people that work at, across the whole company. So the high school, the elementary school, both the ELCs, the baby centers, the whole nine, the whole company. And so um, they were in Gatlinburg actually, um, from Thursday till like I said, like 2 hours ago. I got home like I was eating up until when we started the pre thing. So, the downside between Zadie being gone and me getting over being sick, I played no games from like the Wednesday before I was sick, and I still technically have not launched an actual video game. So it's been like a week and a half because I've been
Yeah,
like,
I
eh.
noticed you hadn't streamed anything. I thought that was odd, but
I was like, eh. I don't wanna. Now there is two games, one of which I know I couldn't stream if I got early access to it, but there is one game where the if you pay extra, you can get into the early access, and it appears there are people streaming it already as of 2 days ago. Now, I don't know if that is just because they're small streamers, so they've got away with it, or if it's actually not under. Because sometimes when you get into an early access, there's NDAs until it releases. Other games want you to. They're like, yes, please stream it, tag
Yeah,
us,
because
love us.
it's free advertising.
So
building up to the launch, it's good buzz.
right. So if I might, I'm debating with myself still. My blanket's out of whack and it's bothering me. I'm debating with myself still on whether to get it or not. Um, and if I get it, then I will start possibly streaming that. I'm currently supposed to be streaming another game, doing like a joke run through the game, but I
A joke run.
so there's the game that I've been playing and that Says plays a lot of is it's a game based on the Pathfinder RPG. It's actually a campaign setting, and they built a game of it called Wrath of the Righteous, and it there's this there's different ways of playing the game. Like there's different paths you can take, and there's different endings, and there's different every decision, not every decision, but lots of decisions actually can affect the world. Like if you make the wrong decision, your party members will just leave. Like they're like, "No, this guy's an ass. We're out." Like or like so. There's lots of different paths. You can take a demon path. You can take a devil path. You can take an angel path. You can take a legend path, which means you don't want to be like truly special. You're just overpowered to be overpowered. And then there's a lich path and a swarm path, which the lich path, of course, several of your party members get very upset because becoming a lich is kind of no. And then swarm, you're literally a living swarm, and so your party members leave because you keep eating people. And so there's all these different paths and things you can do.
Like, no, bro, there's a line.
Yeah,
and you
there's a line.
crossed it,
You're
like,
literally a group of insects, and you literally keep eating people. Please, I'm out.
yeah,
I'm out.
like,
So, but there's options. Like you meet people, and like you can be nice to them, or you can be mean, or you can use one of the special paths. You can be evil. You can be good, because it's an RPG. So it's based on a tabletop RPG. So there's the good, evil, chaotic circle, and
yeah.
So often there's an option of attack. Like, I don't want to talk to this person. This person's already annoyed me. They look funny. Whatever the reason, there different situations you can just choose to attack. And so I was joking with Says that it would be funny to do a run where you just attack every time you're given the option to attack the first time you're given the option to attack people. And see...
So it's a murder hobo run.
It's a murder hobo run. Right, exactly.
Okay.
And see, by the end of the game, who's even around? Like, but the funny thing is like the first time you come across two members, there's two party members, and you have to choose between the two of them, because one ends up being evil. Well, the first option for both of them is attack, but they both have plot armor, where you don't actually attack them. And you're like, how many people actually have the plot armor in this game where attack is not actually a valid option? And so it's kind of wanting to see that. I might do some of that tomorrow, depending on what happens, because I am technically off all day tomorrow. So maybe I'll do some of that tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know what my plans are yet.
Yeah,
Zadie
no
hasn't
school
told
tomorrow,
me.
but Gerg, his one act stuff, they want him there from 9 a.m. till TDB or TB.
His what stuff?
To be determined. One act, the University of Intergalactic League theater thing in Texas.
Oh, that thing he called me about?
Yeah, the thing he called you about. They take one act of a play or modify a play into one act. And they've just put on just that one act of a show, and it gets judged and yada yada. Well, he's in it, and tomorrow they're like, well, we couldn't meet on Saturday for I don't know, some directorate something, and then they're like, but we don't have school Mondays, so if you can come, we'd like everyone here at 9 a.m. The actors can leave at 2:30, but all of you like tech and crew guys, just stay as long as you can.
Just prepare to be there.
Yeah, prepare to be there. So I got to get up and drop them off at 9. At least I don't have to get up at normal time tomorrow. I can
True.
sleep in a little bit and get him there at 9.
Now, the question is does the littlest actually let you sleep, or is he still at the wakes up the moment of day and wakes you up?
So the littlest has decided that Adeline is his best friend. So he wakes up Adeline when he gets up. He no longer comes and wakes Daddy up. However, the puppy, if no one feeds her or lets her out, she will come and start whining and scratching at my door.
Okay.
So she doesn't let me sleep, but the littlest human does.
Yeah, because I know there was a long time where you, like me, the littlest human, would be like, "Hi, good morning, get up now."
Yeah, hi, good morning.
And you're like,
the sun's awake, and so am I.
You need to go somewhere. So, well, that's fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, now it's time for getting to know the pastors.
I don't want to.
And it's my time to pull a card.
Oh, hey, I had something to ask you about this. So, no, you can still pull the card. No, you can still. I'm not going to tell you to not pull the card. No, you're good. So I unpacked all my books, right?
Okay.
I have a ton of youth resources from my parents, and they're right here in front of me, on bookshelves, and several of them have like get to know people questions and lists of things.
No.
And if we get through our cards, or as we get, like, if we want something in between the two sets of cards, I found several books that would be, they're just like, they're conversation starters, they're get to know a business person question, like, from my mom, and I'm like, these might be awesome. They could be horrible. I have no idea.
This could be awesome or really bad.
So they could be better or worse than our cards. Yeah. But I have some books that we can use as we run out of cards. Just so you know.
Okay.
Don't go buy more cards until we see how those books are. But I have them right over there in the bookshelves, and we can. I think it could be extremely humorous because they are.
If you
me
were reincarnated
as
a famous landmark, which would it be?
Okay, wait. First off, there are many questions that must be asked. How
You've always got qualification questions, as if the card gives me any kind of qualifiers. It's just a statement.
How? Okay, so the point of reincarnation. Well, no, I guess if you did timey-wimey reincarnation, you could have been the famous monument the whole time. Also, but I don't like that. It's always weird to me. To me, a reincarnation, you're born into the next thing, not born into a thing that already exists. That always messes with my head, because then how do you have memory? I don't like that card.
Okay.
I don't know, man.
Which celebrity chef would you most like to make you dinner?
Oh. Okay. So I'm gonna qualify this. I have a Biggs, one card down. Let's see how many cards we have to get through tonight. One thing you get to know about the pastors is Pastor Dooms is extremely picky. So I'm gonna say, okay. So for the sake of hanging out with, and I would just like to know the person, would be Gordon Ramsay, because I think it would just be funny to meet him, because he seems like the kind of guy that I would enjoy, um, because he's kind of a person,
A male appendage.
and well, now I was going the opposite side, because I was about to say, and I like people like that, but you went male appendage, and I don't like those very much. So but as far as cooking, I don't think his cooking style is something I would enjoy eating.
Mm.
So like I would like to hang out with this guy while he cooks a meal thing. I think he'd be cool, but like I don't know if I'd like his food necessarily. So if I'm gonna go with someone like whose food I would eat, it's got to be like a Paula Deen or Rachel Ray, or like someone who like does the good Southern cooking. I can't remember that one really large fat chef guy that I used to like. Um, because if I'm gonna have like a famous chef cook me something, I want it to be like good.
Okay, so basically, what we're here. I'm doing this. This means we're simpatico. We're on the same wavelength, right?
Mm-hmm.
The hand gesture I'm making right now. So what we're saying here is, we would like to cook a meal with Gordon Ramsay.
Yes.
And just be in the kitchen, and he's like yelling at you, like, "No, you twit! You need to
Right.
cut that half a stick.
Right.
Yeah, cook right.
Exactly.
But when it comes to sitting down to eat a meal that someone's cooked, it'd be something like Guy Fieri, where it's like this dripping burger with just grease everywhere, but it's like the perfect fat guy meal.
I don't know about Guy Fieri because he booms spice a lot, and I'm not a super boom spice guy. Or bam whatever it was.
No, that's a different guy. You're thinking about can't remember what his name is. This is
Guy.
the guy with the spiky.
I thought that was him.
Hair that goes to the diners, the drive-ins, and the
no, I know, but I thought his whole thing before that was like the bam.
No,
that's somebody else. And like says, you never trust a skinny chef. Like you're not making. I'm looking for.
You're thinking of Emeril Lagasse.
Oh, I'm thinking of Emeril. You're right. I am. I don't want. No. So yeah, no, Guy. I was thinking for some reason that this is terrible. This is how much I watch cooking shows. Obviously, never. For some reason, I was thinking they were the same person.
No, they're not the same person. Those are two different people.
But no,
Hands
I would want
down, the best hamburger and French fries I've ever had was from the quote-unquote Guy Fieri kitchen on the cruise ship that my wife and I went on a cruise on.
So his recipes, basically.
Yeah, it was the most amazing burger I've ever had in my whole life.
Big says he wants the meal cooked by the cake guy. I wasn't even thinking going. There's that one show. I think it might be in Boston, but he's like, it's like Cake Boss or something, and they do cakes.
He just wants a whole cake.
Man. He just wants that guy to make a full meal, just several cakes, I guess.
Biggs is all about the cake.
6 courses of cake.
6 courses of cake.
And Biggs does not argue. He just responds, yes.
He's like, yeah, that's it. That's what I want.
There's not
Give
like
me all the cake.
There's not like what I meant was. No, just yes.
No, he's just straight up. Yep. That's what I meant.
That's what I want. I would need a whole
cake.
bottle of acetaminophen and sodium, whatever the other one I have to take, the NSAIDs, to be able to walk the day after intaking that much sugar. But I'll give it a shot. I drank a sweet tea by accident the other day, and it was so swole up I could barely walk the next. So.
Wow.
Sugar is not my friend no more.
All right, so hello and welcome to season 4, episode 9.
No,
Berean Manifesto.
No,
Faith, hope, and love for the modern Christian.
Wait. Did
I'm
we really
Pastor Mel,
forget?
and I'm joined by Pastor.
Did we forget?
Yeah,
Well, how am I going to edit this now?
I don't know. Pick a spot and start from there.
How did we forget? Welcome, y'all,
You're
to
welcome.
25 minutes in, roughly, probably. We'll see where I actually start it. But, wow. Okay.
All right, so we're in our series in Genesis, and we're getting real close to the end of chapter 1. Just real close, y'all. Real close. So we're in chapter 1, verses 24 and 25. And then next week we'll finish out chapter 1, and then the week after that we'll do a recap basically of the whole first chapter before we then go into chapter 2. But all
Did you
right,
forget to
chapter,
post something again on Spotify?
I don't know. Spotify should be automatic.
I was just asking because Big
Anyway,
said it, but it might be because we didn't
I
do
see
last
that.
week.
It might be. Okay, so Genesis chapter 1, verses 24 and 25. 24 says, and this is from the CSB, the Christian Standard Bible. Then God said, "Let the earth produce living creatures according to their kinds, livestock, creatures that crawl, and the wildlife of the earth according to their kinds." And it was so. Verse 25. So God made the wildlife of the earth according to their kinds, the livestock according to their kinds, and all the creatures that crawl on the ground according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. All right. So we're at a point in chapter 1, if you've been listening and following along up to this point, that none of the words here should be that surprising. You know, we've got God is that H430, which is the plural gods. And then said is actually more commanded, like we've been seeing over and over again. Earth is to be firm. And then it says to go out. So um, to produce, but it's that act of spreading out. You produce and you spread out, right? You fill up the land. It's not just sit in one spot and make copies of yourself. It's, spread. Living creatures is living flesh there, but then it's also breathing creatures. So they live and they breathe. And this is a neat point, a neat counterpoint to what we've seen up to this point, because with the whales and the birds and all of that, they didn't actually say breathing creatures. They didn't use this term nephesh, H5315. It's the same kind of idea of what we were talking about, the soul or the spirit, the certain something that runs the psyche of a person, the personality, that kind of thing. It didn't use that word for whales and fish and birds. Not that they don't have personalities and they don't think, you know, it's just that, I don't know, either the author didn't think they did or
Yeah, they did.
they don't. I don't know. Did they use Nefesh?
Yeah, in 21.
I missed it in my notes.
Well, so
Oh, it does, doesn't it?
so for birds,
Every
it
living creature.
doesn't. It says a mass, an active mass. Um, and then, but for sea creatures, where it says whales, no, but creature, it does. So it actually denotes the difference between um, large sea creatures and living creature that moves and swarms in the water, which is interesting because now looking at whales, and I missed this last time, so it's whales in the KJV, it's large sea creatures in the CSB. It actually means, which I don't think we talked about this. Yeah, it means a kraken. It's a
Kraken.
monster, a sea serpent, a jackal, a
It's
dragon.
it's the same word they translate as Leviathan in Job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a monster. It isn't just a um. Anyway,
Which, to be honest, early seafaring peoples that came across a whale, they would be like, "What is that monstrous thing?"
and then birds, they don't use the same thing either. Words, they use
Okay, then.
foul. So for some they do, but not. So you missed it in one
But
spot.
not birds. I missed it in one spot. So
So some
birds
fish
don't have
have
a soul, but fish do.
some fish do, it appears, but not
Some fish do, but some fish
krakens
don't.
either.
Um,
Languages are weird. All right, continue. Sorry,
okay.
that threw me
So
off for a
then it
second.
says livestock, which is H929, behema, which is a dumb beast. So cattle, any cattle, dumb beasts. That can include camels, cows, oxen, bison. You get the point. Then it talks about reptiles. Um, and then it says, and wildlife. Um, the wildlife there is basically fauna. That's Vic said, no spiders yet. Wildlife would cover all fauna. So that would be spiders, scorpions, everything that hasn't been covered yet that exists. That's where it came from right there. That's when it was created. Okay, and then we get to verse 25, and it's still plural for God, the gods. And then it's Asa eighth. Now, remember we've talked about eighth. Eighth means to personally do something, right? So it says God personally made these things. He personally made the wildlife, the livestock, the creatures. He personally made those. It wasn't like when he just commanded something to exist. He actually commanded that it needed to exist, and then he personally made it. And then gave them their portions, it says, or when we translate that, we say according to their kinds. So God had this idea that, okay, you have this domain and you have this little domain, and you need to, replenish and spread out there. You need to be fruitful. You need to multiply in your little area amongst your own little kind, right? And so um, God saw that it was good, right? So we have to differentiate that once again. It is not God like when he saw the light looking within himself and recognize it and going, oh, that's good. No, this is just God looking at it and saying, yeah, that's a good thing. That's good, right?
Because it is different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's different. It's a different thing. In English, we say it's the same thing. We say it the same way. It means the same thing, but then when we get to the original language, there, it's a different thing. It's something different. All right. Do you have anything else you want to say about the word to word breakdown there?
Not, no, not really. Not at that point. Um, you know, it's it's pretty self-explanatory. Um, I mean, the words are the
It's not,
words.
it's not
These,
rocket science
yeah,
there.
these ones aren't super deep like some of it. These ones are kind of,
Yeah, well,
oh my.
basically, what we're doing at this point is we're just trying to. The author is just trying to get through everything that was created before humanity. Where'd my camera go? Okay,
No, nowhere. Don't worry about it. Worry about yourself.
I am worried about myself. That's my camera.
If anything
At this
becomes
point,
full screen on that monitor,
yeah.
um, it makes you go away. So.
At this point, the author is just trying to get through the rest of creation and has toned down the imagery and toned down the all the background stuff because they're wanting to get to the humans. They're wanting to get to the actual point of why they're telling this story. So in the beginning, they were very much, this is the important stuff. This is the deep stuff. And then as the chapter progresses, they're like, okay, let's get back to the important stuff. But we gotta list off all these things to get there, right? Um, all right. So now it's time for our. This is only the second time we've done this. It's the topic according to AI, right?
I was really
Where we
hoping you
take
were going to just leave this alone.
where I took all 7 commentaries that I read and fed their viewpoints on these 2 verses into ChatGPT and had it spit back a synopsis on what they all cover. All right, you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. The 6th day of creation in the Bible is a significant event in the creation story, as it highlights the preparation of the earth for the arrival of humans. According to the Bible, God created various animals, including cattle, creeping things, and beasts of the earth, and declared them to be good. These animals were divided into 3 classes and made after their kind, each having its own unique species. The creation of animals was necessary for the arrival of man, as they served various purposes such as transportation, food, and commerce. The authors note that the creation of the animals demonstrates the benevolent purpose of God's work. The incompleteness of the earth with just lower creatures highlights the spiritual greatness of humans, despite their inferior physical qualities compared to the animal races. Humans, as the climax of the earth's creation, are able to recognize the order and exert control over all other creatures, making them godlike and the king of the earth. In contrast to the creation of the animals, the creation of humans is described as the master work and the end of all that has been done. According to the Bible, man's body was taken from the earth, but his soul was from heaven, while the body and soul of beasts are wholly from the earth. This distinction highlights the special relationship that animals have with God and their elevated status among all creatures. In conclusion, the 6th day of creation in the Bible emphasizes the important role that the creation of animals played in the preparation of the earth for the arrival of humans. It also highlights the unique and special relationship that humans have with God and their elevated status among all creatures. So there you go. There's the summary of the topic according to ChatGPT, based off of the commentary entries from the 7 different commentaries that I study um, as part of my preparation. Interestingly enough, we didn't have a dissenting opinion this week. The Sermon Bible didn't go all evolutionary on us this time, which I thought was interesting. So,
What I find interesting is the fact that we didn't actually talk about the humans, but you
right,
included
verses
them in
24 and
the
25 don't. Um, well, the commentaries for verses 24 and 25 talk about it. So that's where got that from.
Mm. I was like, that's odd.
Yeah, I thought it was odd too. Says he can fix something for us if we like, but I don't know what.
Don't worry about it. He's just
Okay.
being says.
Okay. All right. So that's verses 24 and 25 of Genesis 1. Um, where God makes all of those other creatures. And so the name of that episode was what? What did we name that?
It was. I don't remember. Let's go back to the weekly.
And Fauna. Oh my. Of course, I had to throw the oh my in there.
Yeah, I
'cause,
didn't understand the oh my. I thought that was strange.
lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
Still thought it was strange.
It's a Wizard of Oz reference. Come on, man.
Strange.
Why is that strange?
It's strange.
You can say it's strange if you want to. Oh, I see. Says he can offer a dissenting opinion. Okay, so I have a question. There's no mention of dinosaurs in Genesis 1. Why is that, Pastor Nims?
Well, as you mentioned, Genesis 1 comes from the story as written by the
Humans.
Babylonians.
Correct.
And by that point, dinosaurs weren't walking around.
Right.
So that
There's
would
no
be
mention of dinosaurs because this is a text written by humans.
right. In Job, there is a mention of a leviathan. It is the same word usage as sea creature. That is used in Genesis.
Well,
But
Job also talks
technically,
about a unicorn. It
mhm,
also talks about a great beast with huge legs whose neck reaches to the sky.
yep.
Um,
And
but modern theologians have narrowed those down to modern animals that we still have.
um,
Anyway,
the the other aspect is the fact that there's a couple different aspects you could look at as far as dinosaurs go in the Bible. So there's the aspect of one, if we're looking at it from a standpoint of everything was created at the same time in the same way in the exact same, the way that most modern churches teach it, um, dinosaurs would then be kept under creeping thing, and sea ones would be under the monstrous sea creatures. So they wouldn't spell them out any differently than any other form of lizard and or bird. Um, they're just bigger. um, if you look at it from a standpoint of it's written by, it's a, especially Genesis 1 is a retelling of the story based on, you know, added in later from what most of the rest of Genesis was written. Um, it's the Babylonians, so you'd have to go back and ask them. Um,
well, I think the main real answer I'm trying to get at is this isn't dictated by God. This isn't this isn't God saying, in the beginning I, and then I, and then I. This is mankind going, well, we believe that this is how it happened, right? And and we're going, oh yeah, okay, I have faith that and believe that, right? But this isn't God's account of creation. This is the Babylonian account of creation as adapted and edited by uh, the culture of the Jewish people. So is it exhaustive? No. Is it scientific? No. Is it 100% accurate? Not any more than me trying to write a book about the Civil War.
yeah,
I wasn't there. I didn't see it. I can recount the stories that have been told to me.
right, and that's often when, especially when you deal with a more, you know, the text that is not necessarily for religious study, these are stories that have been handed down and handed down and handed down, and they were written down. Um, do I think they are mostly accurate to a certain degree? Yeah, I think the generalized aspects are. Um, I think when we look at the differences between Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, it gets a little funny. Um, but, we're not necessarily looking at that yet. That's not exactly what you're looking for at the moment. But,
At this point, we're taking the text scripture by scripture and trying to
right.
let it stand on its own, and build upon itself as
Mm-hmm.
if we haven't really seen what's coming yet. We don't know what's going to be said next,
This is true.
for the most part.
So,
So we've grabbed onto some statements and gone, well, it seems like it's saying this, not necessarily believing that it means that even, because we've read ahead in the book where they clarify certain things, right? Um, but that's all part of the process of learning and getting to the heart of what's there. But one of the things that really bugs me is this whole, we get these arguments where people are like, no, it was this way. And other people are like, well, it couldn't have been that way. That's ridiculous. And they're arguing back and forth as if Genesis 1 was written from a first person point of view perspective by someone who was there.
yeah.
But it's not. It's not. It's a game of telephone. It's been repeated and repeated and repeated and repeated. What it is a very good, firm, standing building block for the beginning of a religious viewpoint on the world and a religious study of God. It is not intended to be a what's the word? A discourse on the actual steps of creation. That's not what it is. It's not intended to be that way. It can't be used that way, but people use it that way and they argue it that way. And I'm like, I- you know, you choose by faith to believe it is that, and it's a very good thing to build upon in your faith and in your religious beliefs. But to then take it out of the Bible and try to argue it in a secular standing and go, well, no, this is an actual account of how things happened. The Bible doesn't even make that claim. There's the one time where Jesus says, he mentions the 7 days of creation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't look it up ahead of this time because I didn't think about the fact that I was going to be quoting it. But even then, it's in the middle of a sermon where he's specifically talking to a religious group, and so it's not even used as a secular talking point at that point. I don't know. It just frustrates me that the Bible is intended for certain things, and to take it out of that context feels like demeaning and uh, undervaluing the text itself.
Yeah, I mean, we have the New Testament that talks about, all scripture is God breathed for the uses of teaching, preaching, you know, religious aspects. Doesn't say to dictate historical documents. Doesn't say to, it
The word
is.
apologetics isn't listed in that list. And arguing with non-believers isn't in that list either. So
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing when we look at how some people, it's like the weaponization of certain areas of scripture. It doesn't make sense. There's no reason we should be weaponizing scripture. Um, so
So when my child asks me, "Is this how it happened? Is this how creation happened?" What's my response? My response is, as far as our religious beliefs are concerned, this is the important things that happened in that reference. This is the list of the important things that happened in reference to your religion, my religion. That's my answer.
And in how I usually would take it is the aspect of this is what is believed to the way it
Believed
has happened.
is the key word there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
is it perfect? No, because no one was there. We're basing it off of the knowledge of having faith in our belief system. It's
I
not
get
complete.
just I get the same amount of frustrated in secular conversations when people will say, "No, we know exactly this is how it happened. We know exactly, that the Earth is billions of years, this many billions of years old, and that the evolution happened exactly like this." And it frustrates me there too because I'm like, you don't. You believe it based off of this evidence and this evidence and this evidence, but you weren't there. No one was. You're making an educated guess and choosing to believe it.
I mean,
Um,
everything takes
but
a
an
certain amount of faith. It's just
right,
it's
an
just how life is.
honest, an honest scientist will say we've come to a pretty trustworthy hypothesis that this is what happened.
Yeah.
And on that point, I can go, cool, tell me more about it, because we're being honest. But on both sides, secular and religious, we need to be emphasizing more on this is my belief and less on making things into scientific fact that just aren't. Genesis 1 is not scientific fact. The Big Bang is not necessarily scientific fact. I know we can reproduce certain things that we theorize the Big Bang was like in a much smaller form in the Hadron Collider, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's actually what happened. It just means it is a plausible option for what happened. The fact that it can be recreated.
Yeah, this is close to what science believes because it's what makes logical sense based on our knowledge sets.
All right. Well, that's all we have for tonight. The Berean Manifesto is a podcast that comes out once a week, more or less. Sometimes we take a break, but we try to come out every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, wherever you get your podcasts from. If you've enjoyed this episode or you think it might be enjoyable or helpful for someone else, like, share, follow, whatever it is on where you're getting your podcasts so that you can make sure you don't miss an episode and so that other people can get our episodes as well. That helps it grow. We do record this podcast live on Sunday evenings at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you can go to our website, ekk.house, to find out which Twitch account, which YouTube account, and which Facebook account you could go to catch those live broadcasts. That's the word, broadcasts. And then you can participate in the chat. You can type in what you want to say. And I keep Discord here open in front of me. Pastor Nooms keeps Twitch and Discord in front of him. And we can actually, you can be part of the conversation. Like you've heard a few times tonight, we've referenced someone from the chat participating in the conversation. And we welcome that. We welcome questions or concerns or dissent. We keep it clean, we keep it respectful, and we're not afraid to block people who are unwilling to be respectful. So, yeah, keep that in mind. All right. So, Pastor Nooms, if you don't have anything else for tonight, I'm going to say we love you guys, and we hope you have a great week.
Be safe out there.
And until next time.
And now
we do a 30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. Has it been 30 seconds yet?
No, not yet.
Nope. That's not how time works.
Nope.
30-second buffer.
Mm-hmm.
30-second buffer.
Yep.
30-second buffer.
Uh-huh.
Hey, look. Grayson was here.
Grayson was here. He didn't speak at all.
Which is weird, because if you know that boy in real life, that boy can talk.
All right. We love you guys.
Love you, Grayson. Bye.